I don't think Tucker Carlson is an honest actor here. Also, to say, oh, the elite, and not have Tucker Carlson in that elite, it's giving when Anna was like, oh my gosh, like, he lives like a regular person, guys. He lives like he's just like a regular person. Like, shut up. Shut up. Hello. My name is Ashlee, and welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to be talking about Cenk on Tucker Carlson, and we are going to be asking the question, has TYT really learned their lesson? I think not. So Cenk went on Tucker Carlson recently, and I've only seen a few minutes of it, but I already know it's gonna make me rage. Before we get into it today, please like and subscribe and turn on post notifications and comments. Comments help me a lot. Thank you to everyone who always comments. I love you all so much. I was watching the Majority Report today, and Matt Binder said something that I really agree with. They were talking about Megyn Kelly. And they were talking about how during the Me Too movement, Megyn Kelly came out about the sexual harassment that she faced at Fox News from Roger Ailes. And recently, when Donald Trump told Caitlin Collins that she needed to smile, which was misogynistic and disgusting, Megyn Kelly recently in an interview with JD Vance said that, yeah, I think she should smile too. That's what Roger Ailes always said to us, is that we should at least smile. We should be serious, but we should smile. Very misogynistic. I don't think you tell that to men. Also, she was talking about the Epstein files, and so her smiling in that moment seems a little bit odd. Matt Binder was like, their whole point in showing this on the Majority Report was to show that when it was advantageous to Megyn Kelly, she used her trauma and other people's trauma to gain prominence and to gain popularity. And now, when it's not advantageous to her, and she wants to be a part of the Trump coalition still, I don't know why, but she does. She is willing to use the advice of a person that sexually harassed her against another woman. And so, which is disgusting on so many levels, but it's so disgusting, and she's a disgusting human being for multiple reasons. One that being one of them. But Matt Binder said that, people like Megyn Kelly, and honestly, I'm going to put in MTG, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who are now coming out and are like, oh my God, I've seen the light. We should not just redeem them, And that's how I felt about Anna. And so that's why when people were like, oh, well, I'm going to give Anna grace, or we need to give certain people grace, I'm like, do we though? And so Matt Binder earlier today said, hey, we should remember these things, and we shouldn't just redeem them or whitewash their history, because they could be like Megyn Kelly, and they could be doing this for the moment, for the season, because Trump is really unpopular right now. And, a couple years down the line, who knows what they're going to do when it comes to these media pundits like Tucker Carlson, who have spent their whole career just pushing conspiracy theories and pushing the worst kind of racism and hate mongering and dog whistles, and just has spent his whole career doing this. And now we're going to be like, well, I agree with him kind of on some things, so he seems like an all right guy. And if we just come together if the left could just come together with Tucker Carlson, then maybe we could change things. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. I'm sorry, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Let's watch this video. I'm gonna lose my mind. I really am gonna lose my mind. and I'm gonna lose my mind. Okay, so here we go.
Good to see you, Cenk.
Good to see you, Tucker.
I haven't seen you since we had a debate years ago, I think, at Politicon. Totally different world. But I was thinking this morning as I was driving in, I'm like, of all the things you could do to infuriate your audience, this is probably at the top of the list. Like, you don't need to do this.
I don't, and that's the thing, infuriate your audience. Like, I don't, what audience do they have? Like, what audience do they have anymore? Because it's, I don't think it's really progressives.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, I want to take yes for an answer. You're anti-war. We've been anti-war for 20 years.
Okay, he says that about Tucker Carlson. He says that about Marjorie Taylor Greene. He says that about all these people who have benefited and profited off of war. And even if Tucker Carlson says that he's against it now, and this was my problem when he was cozying up to Marjorie Taylor Greene, is Marjorie Taylor Greene said she was against all these wars and all these other kind of things. But it's like, okay, but she's okay with having wars on our streets. But like, she's okay with mass deportation. She wants that. She talked about it a lot. The agreeing with Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene is very surface level. If you start, and I say this about actually regular conservatives too, because I have this issue when I'm talking with like my family and stuff. We can agree on the surface. We can agree on the surface of like, yeah, I don't want there to be wars. But if you dig deeper and you start talking about specifics, they'll be like, well, I mean, we had to do this because of that. And we have to do this because of that. And it's like, they just say they're anti-war. It doesn't mean that they're actually anti-war. And that's my problem with this.
So
I have not been, so bless you for that.
Thank you, brother, and welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And so that's amazing. That's important. And I also want to break down the barriers of Republicans versus Democrats, right wing versus left wing. I think that it's kind of used to divide us. And I think that the powerful already have an incredible elite team. They're very, very organized. And they do it through donations to the politicians, etc.
Yes.
But the American people are not organized. We have built two teams, but those two teams, the Republicans and the Democrats, have been trained to fight each other instead of fighting up, right?
Exactly.
And so...
See, and I hate Tucker Carlson because Tucker, like, God, I hate Tucker Carlson so much. He makes me, like... He makes my skin crawl. I have always hated Tucker Carlson, and there's just something about him that makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me like hate him so much. I don't think Tucker Carlson means anything he says. I don't think Tucker Carlson is an honest actor here. Also, to say, oh, the elite, and not have Tucker Carlson in that elite, it's giving when Anna was like, oh my gosh, like, he lives like a regular person, guys. He lives like he's just like a regular person. Like, shut up. So I don't know. I don't see Tucker Carlson. I don't see Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't see any of these people as sincere people. They're in this for selfish reasons, and because they are going to do whatever they need to do to get to where they want to be. And I truly believe that, because I think that's just, it's kind of ingrained in a lot of the conservative mindset. They had individualism like glued into their brains, right? Pushed into their brains. And so they think, well, I need to be the best I can be. And if that means I have to push everyone else down, if that means that I have to, go behind this person's back, if that means that I have to say this and not mean it, then I'll do that, because I just need to get to where I need to be, and I just need to worry about me and nobody else.
When you split the population that way, you take away all of their energy, because you have them use their energy against one another rather than against you. It's actually brilliant.
I agree with him on this. I do think that like all of our energy is fighting against like, oh, I'm conservative, I'm right wing, I'm this and whatever. And it's fighting against each other. And not fighting up. I do agree that we do that a lot, but I think that's changing. I think that's changing, and I think that's changing on the Democratic side. And the reason I think that's changing on the Democratic side is because I think the Democrats have shown themselves to be so incompetent and have shown that they are not going to fight the Republicans and that they don't want to fight the Republicans. The Republicans are literally doing fascism, and they're like, well, you know, golly gee, what am I going to do? And so I think that has made a lot of like normie Democrats and very like, or centrists or people on the outskirts, or people maybe who are not into politics as much. I think those people have realized that. And I think that as a whole, more and more people are realizing, okay, yeah, the Democrats are not going to come and save us. I went to a protest, an anti-ICE protest that I told you all about, and that is something that the organizers said. They were like, you know, no matter what side you're on, if you think we should abolish ICE, if you don't think ICE should be like this, then like we welcome you here. And I do agree with that. And I do think that that's good. I also think that like that also means it's kind of like what AOC said in her speech at the rally when she went with Bernie, I think it was in LA, when she said, you know, we will welcome you into this coalition, but this is a coalition for everyone. And if that is not okay with you, you're not who we need. And I agree with that, because I don't want, like, I get mad at liberals. Like, I get mad at liberals and establishment Democrats that want to throw trans people under the bus, right? I get mad at them for wanting to throw immigrants under the bus. I get mad at them for wanting to throw anyone under the bus. Really, they don't really give a shit. Like, they're like establishment Democrats and a lot of liberals like Ezra Klein are willing to throw everything and everyone under the bus to just not make a sound, to just not have any conflict, to just not have anyone upset or do anything too drastic. And all while over here, Donald Trump is like, yeah, we want to control the elections. Like, we want to have Steve Bannon's like, we want to have ICE officers intimidating people at polling sites. And, you know, Chuck Schumer is over here like, well, I guess they should wear masks when they're out there. And it's like, this is just like, it's just not, it just doesn't make sense. So I think when people like Cenk go talk to Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro and all these different people and act like they're doing this grand gesture of like, wow, look at me, I'm going and I'm talking to this person, and I am able to talk to Tucker Carlson and be friends with him, and isn't that just amazing? Isn't that progress? And I don't think it is. I don't think it is. What I think is progress, what I think is important, is organizing like Minneapolis, is looking at Minneapolis and seeing what they're doing, because they're doing amazing and brave, looking to people like Tucker Carlson and Cenk Uygur, and them having a conversation as some like threat to the establishment is silly. I think it's silly. And I think trying to do this whitewashing of people like Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, I find it disgusting. I don't get why that's necessary. Like, we can fight back against this fascist government. We can, and he's like, and the people aren't organized, but I would actually disagree with that. I think that the people of Minneapolis are organized, and I think they are pushing back, and I think it is working, because if it wasn't working, they wouldn't be trying to go after Antifa. They wouldn't be arresting journalists. So this is what I mean by these are not honest actors. You cannot take these people seriously. They are not here because they actually care. I don't think that that Tucker is actually anti-war. I don't think he actually gives a shit, right, about anything, honestly. And so this is what I mean. So Hank Thompson said, Cenk answers dissent from 10-year paying supporter about Tucker Carlson's alleged anti-war principles. Please stop your right-wing cuddling. Your anti-war buddy Tucker was licking Trump's boots this month. Cenk denies Tucker supported Trump's Venezuela attack.
I want to go to this comment because it's a dissent. Mark Keister wrote it on Super Chat. Please stop your right-wing cuddling. Your anti-war buddy Tucker was licking Trump's boots this month, supporting the attack on Venezuela. No, he didn't. Why bother? You won't read this critical feedback from a 10-year member. Oh, I just read it. Okay, so Mark, here's the situation. Look, nothing but love, brother. You're mad at me, no problem. You think I'm cuddling them, no problem. Okay, just see how it goes. And today you're saying, "Oh, my buddy Tucker sucks," when he's agreeing with us on this issue.
But that's what I'm saying. No, he's not. No, he's not. He says he's anti-war, but that doesn't mean he actually believes it. And that's the other thing that I was saying. To act like Tucker Carlson is not a part of the elite, to act like Tucker Carlson is not a part of the establishment, to act like Tucker Carlson is not entrenched in these communities is ridiculous and not true. And Cenk is gaslighting this member. He is gaslighting this member, being like, well, we'll just see how it goes. How has the last few months, how has the last year of your reporting gone? How has the last year gone for you all? Because now you and Anna are having to come back and be like, oh, wow, we were wrong. I'm sorry, we were wrong. How many times are you going to do that? How many times are you going to continue to do that? It's ridiculous. Tucker Carlson is one of the main people that contributed to dividing everyone. So to now try to whitewash that and to try to act like he's turned a new leaf is disgusting. It's disgusting. Cenk talking to Marjorie Taylor Greene and whitewashing her reputation is not going to change Trump's fascist tactics. It's not. Marjorie Taylor Greene is gone. She's done. No one cares about her anymore. She's not relevant. My family all hates her now. So conservatives are on the same page. They just don't like her anymore, and they don't care about her. So like, what did whitewashing her reputation do for anyone but her? How did that help anyone but her? I wanted to add something into this video because Cenk has been tweeting, and I wanted to add some of his tweets in this video because I think it perfectly shows that, honestly, personally, in my opinion, I think at this point he's just like a grifter. And I don't know. I don't know him personally. I also think that the new grift is being like an enlightened centrist. That's my prediction. I said that in my live on Monday. It's my prediction. But let's look at some of these tweets. So he calls out Sam Seder in them, and then he also is talking about the left. So Cenk the other day on Twitter said, "I'm willing to talk to almost anyone on the left to right spectrum. But what's the point with Israel first? They live in a different reality where if you ask questions about Epstein files or don't grovel to Israel, you hate all Jews and should be destroyed. They're supernova toxic." Supernova toxic is like cringe. I don't know where that came from. The thing is like I agree with his sentiment, because obviously there were Israeli officials in the Epstein files. But something that I think he thinks is like this, he's being like morally superior. He always talks about the left, the max left. It's like, oh, you guys just want to be morally superior, blah, blah, blah. To me, he's the one who's trying to be morally superior by being like, well, I'll talk to anyone. And that's just not true. That's not true. Also, if you will talk to anyone, the people you are choosing to talk to, I think sends a message. Choosing to talk to Tucker Carlson and whitewash his image is definitely a decision. And so then this person said, except Sam Seder, LOL, because that's true. He will not talk to Sam Seder. This is how Cenk responds. He says, or Dave Rubin. I think that they're both bad faith actors. He said that about Sam Seder. He said, or Dave Rubin. I think they're both bad faith actors. One on the left and the other on the right. I talked to almost everyone on the left. He talks to almost everyone on the left. Okay, you said you would talk to anyone, but now you're changing your tone. Sam does that trick to try to pretend I don't talk to anyone on the left. No, you said that. You're the one who made this tweet. You said you would talk to anyone on the left. That's what you said. Sam didn't say that. That's what you said. You said that, okay? No, it's particular to him. I think he's a disingenuous. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, so I'm not going to say that. I think Cenk is disingenuous. I think Cenk is a grifter. You sound insane. You sound insane. You've taken Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and you've been trying to whitewash their legacy. You and Anna both have been trying to just completely erase what they've done in the past. And they're like, oh, well, they agree with us on one thing now. So you know what? Just forget all the racism, forget all the homophobia, forget all the transphobia, and welcome them in. No, thank you. No, thank you. Tucker Carlson is one of the biggest reasons we are in the position that we are in today. And so acting like, oh, well, he kind of changed his mind on being anti-war now, so hey, he's all good in my book, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's ahistorical. And when all this comes to a head, I saw a meme today where it was like, the right's not going to like how we treat them when this all ends. And I just like, when this all does come to a head, when this all does end, when this all does, when the crash out happens, I don't know. But when it does, I want people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson and all the people who got us to this point to suffer consequences. I don't want this to happen again. I don't want fascism to be here. I don't want it to come back. I don't want these things to happen again. So I think people in the media and people in our politics that have brought us to this point, that have helped got us to this point where we now have a rogue agency in our streets killing people and kidnapping people, I think anyone who had anything to do with that deserves to be held accountable. I do think it's important to remind people who Candace Owens is. I think it's important to remind people who Tucker Carlson is, because they are really trying. They are really trying to change how people see them, and they're really trying to whitewash their legacy. That's what they're trying to do. And people like Cenk are helping them do that. This person replies and says, thinking Sam Seder is bad faith while swinging on white supremacist Tucker Carlson balls and doing interviews with people like Charlie Kirk and MTG LMAO. Just admit you're afraid. And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. Cenk is just afraid. I think he knows Sam Seder would, and I think he knows that Sam would show him for the grifter that he is, or is becoming, or what have you. And I really just think that it's ridiculous that he's calling people like Sam Seder a bad faith actor, but then will go on a podcast with Tucker Carlson and say that he's great, and then gaslight people and tell people that no, he is anti-war, trust me, even though he's not. So something I wanted to show you these tweets, one, because like I said, I have a prediction that the new grift, the new thing that people in the media are gonna do is gonna like play both sides. Like for me, like I don't like Democrats and I don't like Republicans. Like I dislike them both, right? I rail against the Republicans more because they're the ones currently in power and they're, fascist. But like I also rail against the Democrats. And so I don't mean in that way. I mean like in a way where like Asmongold, like Tim Pool, like all these different people, they don't take a stance on something. And instead they both sides it because they want to keep both of those audiences and they don't want to make anybody mad. So they don't have an opinion or they don't have a stance on something. And I honestly think it's pathetic, but I think it's what's happening right now. And I've been seeing it right everywhere. And so Cenk is doing it and he says, I didn't like or dislike the halftime show because I'm a football fan. I came for the football, not the musical act. I didn't understand what he was singing, not just because I don't speak Spanish, but also because I never even try to hear the lyrics because I'm a football fan. Okay, bro. Okay. Because I'm a football fan. So I don't care about anything else. I can't have an opinion on anything else but the football. It's ridiculous, pathetic. If you're if you're a real football fan, you shouldn't be busy judging how fabulous the musical performance was. You should be figuring out your halftime bet. Oh, here we go, because you got money from Polymarket. Why are you glazing sports betting? Why? If not because you were getting money from these same sources, from these same people. This whole betting thing, I hate. I think it's really dangerous and I don't like it. And I think it's, I hate it. I don't like it at all. I think it's really dangerous. I think it gets a lot of people in severe trouble. Why? Like, why are you doing this? And it's like these whole, like both of these two tweets were just so he could have like an ad, so he could not have an opinion, so he could have an ad for sports betting. Anyway, if you're a real football fan, you shouldn't be busy judging how fabulous the music performance was. You should be busy figuring out your halftime bet. You shouldn't care whether the bunny was good or bad, but how good the Hawks are. Wake up. Culture wars are meant to divide us. Okay, it is. It's stupid. It's a stupid take. It's pathetic because he's not taking a stance. And this is what I hate about people like Cenk, or people who always want to say, oh, it's the culture war and it doesn't matter. It's the culture war and it doesn't matter and it's there to divide us. You are acting like there are two... like I get it. Liberals are all like, Jimmy Kimmel made a joke of, oh my God, people who didn't even know who Bad Bunny is they're like, oh, liberals are so excited for Bad Bunny now. I get it. But who in this scenario created this division? Who in this scenario decided it was going to be a culture war? Who in this scenario decided to boycott and make their own Super Bowl? Who did that? Who did that? You're acting like the culture war just somehow comes out of thin air. It just comes out of thin air. Whoop, there it appears. All of a sudden there's a culture war. No. People on the right, like Charlie Kirk, like Erica Kirk, like Turning Point USA, like all these other people, when Bad Bunny was announced, they lost their mind when he was announced. They lost their shit. They're still losing their shit, right? They decided their feelings were so hurt that they decided to create their own halftime show. They've been calling Bad Bunny an illegal or not a citizen or whatever the hell, even though he is an American citizen. And so who is creating these narratives? Who is doing that? That's what's so frustrating about this whole culture war thing. It's like, okay, but who is doing that? Also, there are tangible rhetoric that is resulting in harm within communities that came from that, right? Because they were looking at I was watching clips of the Five, and Jesse Waters is over here like, oh, all these foreign flags, they're invading like the caravan and like freaking out. Do you not think that rhetoric then affects how ICE does their job, then affects how ICE and this federal government handles protesters and citizens who are against them, handles immigrants? It's just so frustrating because this is so nonsensical, and in those tweets, they had no point. There was no point, none at all. This is the political commentary he's giving. But all right, that was the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment. Comments really help me in the algorithm. Check out my shop. I think this is on there. This is really old though, so it's kind of faded, but it says democracy, not theocracy. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you think below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.